California's wildfire landscape is changing rapidly, and this month, March 2025, Cal Fire dropped critical new maps that redefine the fire risk for millions of residents. If you live in the Bay Area or anywhere in Northern California, your home's fire hazard classification might look very different today. Let's break down what's new, why it matters, and how this could hit your wallet. Cal Fire updates its maps based on the new data about wildfire risk, and this time, more parts of the Bay Area have been added to the high-risk zone. These maps use 30 plus years of fire behavior data and updated climatic models and factors like ember spread risk, tools that didn't exist in 2007 when the last maps were made. Let's take a closer look at which cities are now affected more than the others. Let's talk about Fremont first. Areas near Mission Peak, Niles Canyon, and Sunol Region Wilderness now fall into high-risk fire zone. Next is San Jose. Nearly 20,000 acres added to high and very high fire hazard zones, impacting hillside neighborhoods near Alum Rock, Coyote Valley, and the Santa Teresa area. In San Ramon and Danville, the hilly regions, particularly near open spaces and Mount Diablo State Park, have now increased fire risk. In Pleasanton and Livermore, vineyards and hillside areas are under greater scrutiny now. Tracy, southern and eastern edges are now classified as high fire risk zone, while central area remains moderate risk. There is a lot of new development going in Tracy in southern areas and the eastern areas, and all of that is in high fire risk zone now. Newly designated high fire risk areas in Mountain House are due to the proximity to open spaces, basically the hills in Tracy. Cupertino, very high hazard acreage, has jumped from 16 acres in 2011 to 1,053 acres in 2025, particularly near Rancho San Antonio Open Space Preserve and the western foothills leading to Santa Cruz Mountains. Contra Costa County now has 52,000 plus acres in very high risk zones, up from 24,000 acres in the older map, so it has almost doubled. To see if your home is in new hazard zone, check Cal Fire's online interactive tool, and the link is in the description. Now, one of the biggest impacts of this updated fire map is home insurance. If your home is now in a newly designated fire risk area, you could see your insurance premium go up, sometimes by thousands of dollars. In some cases, insurance companies may even refuse to renew policies. Here is what you need to know. Many homeowners are now reporting 30 to 50% increases in their annual insurance costs, so budget it in if you're buying a new home. On top of that, there are limited options because some insurers may pull out of these high-risk zone, leaving you with fewer choices. Now let's talk about California Fair Plan. If you lose coverage, you might have to resort to the state-backed last resort insurance option, which can be costly and offer limited coverage. So the silver lining here is that the home complying with the new codes might see lower rates long term. For example, multi-pane windows, ember-resistant vents could reduce claims. I would definitely advise to get all these protections in place anyways for your safety. Now let's talk about how this affects home values. Historically, homes in high fire risk zones have seen lower demand because of the high insurance costs and potential fire damage risks. Here's what we are likely to see moving forward. Sellers will now be required to disclose fire risks more explicitly, which could affect buyer confidence. Home values in high-risk areas may not rise as quickly as those in low-risk areas, so pay attention before putting that offer in. Some buyers might prioritize home in low-risk neighborhoods, changing the demand dynamics in Bay Area and further pushing the cost of homes in lower-risk areas higher. Remember, this doesn't mean homes in fire risk zones won't sell. It just means buyers and sellers need to be aware and plan accordingly. So you might ask, what can you do to protect your home and your investment? Here are few tips for you. First and foremost, fireproof your home. Clear all the vegetation, install ember-resistant vents, and use fire-resistant building materials. Second most important thing here would be to check your insurance policy, understand your coverage, and explore options before renewal time. Last but not the least, consider fire safety upgrades like sprinkler system and fire-resistant landscaping. These two things are not expensive, but they are so effective. Stay informed, follow Cal Fire updates, and check if your home falls in a fire risk zone. From precautions perspective, residents in newly designated high-risk areas may need to take additional precautions to protect their properties from wildfire. The matter of the fact is that fire risk is growing concern in California, and it is crucial to stay ahead of these changes. If you are thinking about buying or selling in the Bay Area and want expert guidance on navigating these new fire zones updates, feel free to reach out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below if you have any questions or experiences to share. Let's keep this conversation going so that everybody is benefited from the information.